Hola amigos and welcome to a new lesson. In today's class, we are going to learn the difference between saber and conocer. Of course, as usual, we're going to be using high frequency sentences that are used in daily life. Are you ready? ¿Están listos? Let's jump right into it. Okay, as you know, to know has two meanings in Spanish. The first one is saber. Let's take a look at the conjugation here. First, we have the conjugation in the first person for saber. So it goes sé, yo sé, then tú sabes, él, ella, usted sabe, followed by ustedes, ellos saben, and lastly, nosotros sabemos. Very easy, right? Just the first one is regular. Yo sé. Then how do you say I don't know? That's right. No sé. Or yo no sé. So when do we use saber in Spanish? We use it for facts, information, or to explain how to do something. No worries, we're gonna look at some examples in just a minute. Now, the next verb we used in Spanish is conocer. That's right. And the conjugation goes conozco for I know, yo conozco, followed by tú conoces, él, ella, usted conoce, ustedes, ellos conocen, and nosotros conocemos. How or when do we use conocer? Well, we use it when it implies familiarity or acquaintance with people, places, or things. I know this concept might sound a bit not clear, but with examples I've prepared, I'm sure you're gonna get it very clear. Okay, let's get started with saber. Saber. And the first sentence we have is this, a very simple one. My brother knows how to cook. If you've been following or watching my videos, you know, I think you are almost able to say this perfectly, right? Maybe know how to, not yet because we haven't seen that before, but my brother, you know how to say that, right? Okay, mine is me, that's right, brother, hermano, hermano. Now, whenever you have this structure, to know how to do something, use the verb saber. That's right. Always, no matter what, use saber. Followed by the verb on its base form without conjugation. Then it goes, mi hermano sabe cocinar. Repeat after me. Mi hermano sabe cocinar. Muy bien. I think you're ready for the second sentence. Anna doesn't know how to play chess. Anna. Anna goes Anna in Spanish, of course. Doesn't is no. And now, what you need to do here is easy, right? Conjugate the verb saber in the third person. And that goes sabe. That's right. Remember, yo sé, tú sabes, él, ella sabe. So Ana no sabe, and the next verb, it goes in its base form, right? Then play to play in Spanish is jugar. That's right. Ana no sabe jugar. And chess goes ajedrez. A, G, remember the pronunciation for J, ajedrez. Jugar ajedrez. Ana no sabe jugar ajedrez. Come on, say it. Very good. Next sentence. Her friends know how to play the guitar. Her. How do you say her in Spanish? It goes me, tú. It goes su, right? Yeah. But it goes sus, actually. Why? Because the next word is in plural. So, sus amigos, that means they. So the right conjugation for saber here goes saben, correct. Sus amigos saben. And play, do you remember how to say play in Spanish? Yeah, it was jugar, right? But here we have a special case. When we are talking about playing musical instruments, the verb changes in Spanish. We use another word, and that's tocar. That's right. Tocar. Remember that, okay? Sus amigos saben tocar la guitarra. Sus amigos saben tocar la guitarra. Come on, read it. Excelente, excelente. Remember, know how to equals saber. All right. Next, do they know when the meeting is? Do they know when the meeting is? Okay, this is a question. How do we start? Since this is a question, obviously we start with the opening question mark. That's right, and they know. Since we are doing only sentences with saber, it's easy, right? So how do you say they know? The right conjugation goes saben, right? You can say ellos saben, but you know, in Spanish, we most of the time drop the personal pronouns. Saben, when, easy, right? Cuando. Saben cuándo, saben cuándo, and then the meeting. How do you say the meeting in Spanish? It's actually the same word we have in English, a word that um, has has the same spelling as the one in Spanish. And it goes, no, hold on, not so fast. That's right. Here in Spanish, we have a case of inversing the position of the words. So whenever you have this structure, and we're gonna see more examples, the verb goes before and the subject, in this case, meeting, goes at the end. So the meeting is la reunión. And the whole sentence goes, ¿saben cuándo es la reunión? ¿Saben cuándo es la reunión? So in this case, we are learning the second use for this. The structure goes when you have the verb to know, followed by these question words like what, when, how, where, etc. Okay? Whenever you have no uh, followed by any of these words, then you know that you need to use saber. ¿Saben cuándo es la reunión? That's right. Okay, your turn to say it aloud. Good. And don't forget that intonation at the end of the sentence, it goes up a bit. ¿Saben cuándo es la reunión? Yeah, that's right. Next. Do you know where the restroom is? Huh? Attention there. Do you know where? Another question word. Where? So the sentence goes in Spanish. Sabes, right? Obviously, sabes. Sabes where? How do you say where? ¿Dónde? That's right. Sabes dónde. And here, I'm sure you know. ¿Sabes dónde está el baño? ¿Sabes dónde está el baño? In the previous sentence, we used the verb ser, right? Es. But in this case, we are using está. Do you know why? We learned this in one of our first lessons, and that was the difference between ser and star. And you know here that we need to use a star because we are using location. Where is the bathroom? The bathroom is at. So that's a location. Then we are using estar. ¿Sabes dónde está el baño? Good. Let's move on to the next sentence. Do you know who that is? Do you know them? Okay, we start with opening question mark. You know, you know. How do you say you know in Spanish? Sabes, right? Sabes, sabes. Who goes? ¿Quién? Perfect. ¿Sabes quién? And here we need to use es first, right? ¿Sabes quién es? ¿Sabes quién es? And here in Spanish, we use just the personal pronouns. We don't say that. You know, that is ese or esa. But in Spanish, when that refers to people, we tend to use él or ella, he or she, right? ¿Sabes quién es él or ella? You know, depending on the person you are seeing, you will say él. ¿Sabes quién es él? It's a female. ¿Sabes quién es ella? Perfect. So, in short, the structure goes, do you know what, who, where, how, etc. Something followed by the verb at the end of the question. And in Spanish, that equals sabes, quién, cuándo, cómo, dónde, the verb, and at the end of the sentence, the person or the subject. Okay, that was the second structure for saber, to know who, what, where. And lastly, we have when we use the verb to know to give facts, right? Facts, information. So yeah, to know, actually to know facts. So Carlos knows a lot about Mexico. Carlos knows a lot about Mexico. He likes it. And this sentence is very simple, right? Carlos sabe, yeah, of course, obviously, Carlos sabe a lot, mucho. In case you didn't know, is mucho, mucho. Carlos sabe mucho about sobre. That's right. Sobre Mexico in Spanish is pronounced Mexico. Mexico. México with México. Carlos sabe mucho sobre México. Say it. Very good. And this is information, a piece of information. That's why we use saber. Next, we know the answer. Again, we know some information. And that's why we use saber. So we, nosotros, know, nosotros sabemos, that's right, the answer. Answer is feminine, so the goes la. And do you know how to say answer in Spanish? Question is pregunta, right? La pregunta. And the answer is la respuesta. Nosotros sabemos la respuesta. muy bien, amigo o amiga. Muy bien. And the last one is they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Ellos, right? Ellos don't know. They know. The right conjugation goes saben, right? Ellos no saben anything is nada in this case. Nada, nada. Okay, very good, very good. And that's it for the verb saber. All cases we're seeing. Remember the structures I've mentioned. If you remember that, you'll never be wrong. Now, when do we use conocer then? In the first part of the video, we said that we use conocer when we are familiar or acquaintance with things, okay? Things, no information, no pieces of information. Things, these things can be like objects, right? Like the real objects, also places and people. So things, places, and people. If the verb to know is followed by a thing, a place, or a person, automatically, without thinking, we go conocer. Okay, let's take a look at some examples here. We know that series. Of course, we have already watched it, or we have heard about that. We know that series. We are familiar with that series. Then we say, no, we, how to say we? Nosotros. Here we need to conjugate the verb conocer. How do you say conocer in the first person plural? Conocemos. That's right. Nosotros conocemos. Series is feminine in Spanish. And it's esa. Esa. And series in Spanish is serie. La serie. Okay? We don't say series or series. Series is plural. Las series. But in this case, we are referring to only one series. Nosotros conocemos esa serie. Come on, say it. Perfecto, amigo. Next. Do you know this book? It's like saying, are you familiar with this book? Have you read this book? We start with an opening question mark. You know? es conocer, conoces, conoces. Book is masculine, so this goes este, right? ¿Conoces este libro? Hey, ¿conoces este libro? I like to read it, but I'm not sure. So, do you know this book? Have you read it? That's right. Okay, those were things. Now, let's talk about places. Hey, do they know that restaurant? How do we say this in Spanish? They know. Conocen or ellos conocen. Restaurant. Is it masculine or feminine? El restaurante or la restaurante? What do you say? It's masculine, right? El restaurante. So that needs to go ese. Ese. ¿Conocen ese restaurante? Hey guys. Or well, in this case, it's not guys because it's they. Hey, do they know that restaurant? ¿Conocen ese restaurante? Come on, say it. Muy bien, amigo or amiga. Okay, now we've got the sentence. He knows the city. Again, a place. He knows the city very well. He, he knows, he knows, él sabe, right? No, él conoce, of course. Él conoce the city. It's feminine or masculine? Feminine, that's right. Él conoce la ciudad very, muy bien. Yeah, he's been living here for a long time, so he knows the city very well. Él conoce la ciudad muy bien. Okay, it's your turn to say it. Nice. Muy bien, muy bien. Next. Do you know his boss? Now we are in front of a person, okay? We saw things, we saw places, and now a boss is a person. So the sentence in Spanish goes to to know, you know, is conoces, that's right. Conoces, conoces. And what is happening here? Conoces a, why a? Okay, in a moment. Just a minute. His, how do you say his? It's masculine, so it's su, right? His, her, they both are su in Spanish. And boss. I say boss, it goes jefe, el jefe. That's right. Conoces a su jefe, and why is there an A here? It came out of the blue, but why? Why is it necessary to say A in Spanish? Well, there's a rule called personal A, and that says that whenever a verb is affecting a person in any way, we need to use or we need to introduce an a for any verb. Okay, so you were to say, can you see his boss? That would be ves a su jefe, ves a su jefe. Do you visit his boss? Visitas a su jefe. Okay, we add a all the time. That's a rule. ¿Conoces a su jefe? If you were to say, ¿conoces su jefe? That sounds wrong. Okay, next sentence. They know my family. We are very close, so they know my family. Again, my family here is a person or a group of people, right? So we need to use the verb saber or conocer. That's right, conocer. So the sentence goes, ellos conocen, and now I know what you need to do, right? You need to introduce a. Perfect. Ellos conocen a mi familia. Ellos conocen a mi familia. We can switch this family for any other word that refers to a person, and automatically you will need to use a. Ellos conocen a mi hermano, ellos conocen a mi mamá, etc. If you were to say they know my city is not a person, right? Then you'd say ellos conocen mi ciudad. Now, quiz time. How did it go? I think it was pretty clear, but now it's time to test you. And the first sentence goes, do you know where my keys are? Have you seen it? Do you know where my keys are? Okay, you've got here 10 seconds to do this. And start now. 3, 2, 1. Time up. Do you know where my keys are? You know where, that structure, remember, to know where, what, who, it goes. What do you do? Saber or conocer? Saber. That was the right one. ¿Sabes dónde? ¿Sabes dónde? And here, what else? ¿Sabes dónde? Since we are using dónde, this R is asking for a location, right? Where something is. ¿Sabes dónde está? We use star because of the location. ¿Sabes dónde están mis llaves? That's right. ¿Sabes dónde están mis llaves? Very good. Come on, say it. Excelente, excelente. Next. Carla knows my aunt. Carla knows very well my aunt. Okay, here 10 seconds again. 3, 2, 1. Time up. Carla knows my aunt. Okay, that's easy, right? Carla, this is a person, so we need conocer. That's right. Carla conoce. So in addition to that, we need to introduce what? Ah, that's right. Carla conoce a mi aunt es tía. Tía. Carla conoce a mi tía. Muy bien, muy bien. Next. Hey, let's go to the beach. Do you know how to swim, by the way? Do you know how to swim? Okay, again, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. Do you know how to swim? You, to, know how to. That structure, remember, that means we need to use saber, right? Exacto. Sabes. Hey, tú sabes nadar. ¿Sabes nadar? ¿Sabes nadar? Vamos a ir a la playa. We are going to the beach. ¿Sabes nadar? ¿Tú sabes nadar? Excellent. Okay, now say the question aloud. Muy bien, muy bien. And the last one. I like to pay her a visit, but I don't know her place. I don't know her place. Okay, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. I don't know her place. I is yo, don't is no, right? No. Saber or conocer es conocer. That's right. This is a place we're talking about. Then conocer. Yo no conozco her, easy, right? Su. Her or his, always su in Spanish. No conozco su place. If you know this word, place means lugar, right? Any place, like public places, lugares públicos. But in this case, when place refers to someone's home, in Spanish, we just use casa. Yo no conozco su casa. Okay, repeat after me. Yo no conozco su casa. Muy bien, amigos y amigas. Ah, okay, we have one more. I didn't plan this. I don't know. It came out of nowhere. Okay, and the last sample for this, or the last part of the quiz, the last sentence. I know who you are. I know who you are. Okay, again, you've got 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. I think I know who you are. I've seen you before, but I don't remember. I can't remember. Okay, how did you do it? Let's see. Yo, to know who, what, where we use for that. Saber. That's right. Yo sé quién eres tú. Yo sé quién eres tú. And here we're, okay, here, let me explain this. Okay, now first, let's finish with practice. Yo sé quién eres tú. Okay, come on, say it. Okay, very good. Now, why are we inverting this in Spanish? Because if you take a look at the second part of this sentence, I know who you are. Who you are is basically a question, right? Who are you? Who are you? But since we're starting this sentence with a positive statement like I know who you are, then who you are is not a question anymore. It's like it's called an indirect question. That's why in English you change the positions from who are you to who you are. But in Spanish we don't do that and we keep the same position for a question. That's why in Spanish we say in a question, ¿Quién eres tú? Who are you? ¿Quién eres tú? But also when this question is inside as a positive statement, we still keep the structure. Yo sé quién eres tú. Okay, that's the difference, and that's why we are inverting positions in Spanish. All right, another lesson finished. I hope you really like this one, and if so, as always, subscribe and stay tuned for my next videos. Nos vemos, amigos y amigas. Bye bye. Chao.